What is up, everybody? Just making sure we're
Yay.
live.
Oh boy. Hey, so yeah, I'm gonna repeat my warning. I'm at the office and there's a bunch of people about to barge in this room and screw with this. So
All right.
You had a
Warren,
decent set of
I see
headsets
him.
there, Kyle.
Don't
you
lie,
need-
Kyle. You're
All right, we
paying
are.
them to ambush you.
We
so
are
you
live.
look popular in front of all these people.
Kyle,
No.
if you need to, you can just mute it. But we're ready to get this party started. What's up, everybody? Appreciate you coming by tonight. Welcome to the live stream, a special one. I think it's the most people we've had on the channel. 5 people, well, 4 right now from the Litecoin Foundation. I'm going to go down the list of who's here and who's not here yet. We have Andrew. Many of you know eCurrency hodler, I'm sure, especially if you're on Twitter. I like to think of him as the professor of Litecoin education. We've got Kyle, 5-time Emmy Award winner and also Common Emmy
Dang.
on Twitter. What's up, Kyle? I just had the pleasure to meet Kyle for the first time. We've got David Schwartz, late to Crypto Capital Venture tonight, but also project director at the Litecoin Foundation and just a straight up awesome dude. We've got John Kim, which many of you, if you like Litecoin, you know who John Kim is, I'm sure. Previous goal, Satoshi Light Bodyguard, achieved. Present goal, Chief Litecoin Evangelist. It's in the works for John Kim. And we have Alan, also a big contributor to the Litecoin Project, Litecoin Foundation, someone I had an opportunity to meet at the Litecoin Summit last year. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel.
Hey man.
Hey, Dan.
Thanks for hosting, Dan.
Of course, man. I can't believe how easy it was for us to actually organize this when I tweeted that last week. It was like, boom, done.
We don't play.
It's like
So-
we're like the Avengers. You do a assembly roll call and we all come running.
So what I want to do is to get this thing going. I really, I want if each of you can kind of give a little brief intro, 30 seconds, a minute, to how you got into crypto, maybe how you got into, contributing to the Litecoin Project, Litecoin Foundation. That would be awesome. Alan, if you want to kick it off.
Sure, yeah, thanks. So I've been with well, let me go back first. I think many years ago, I came out of grad school and it was my first introduction into sort of the banking industry. I was working, helping develop technology for a real estate company where we were building one of the first value-added networks in real estate back in the day. And so one of my big job was kind of acting as a liaison, which was really bridging the gap between the developers and end users. So I ended up managing some big accounts like Fannie Mae, Bank of America, and some others. And it's sort of my first experience to really, with visiting these companies, really see how they were doing business and stuff. And so I stayed within the real estate business for many years, but always had building technology and always had that technology thing on the side and working with lenders. So when crypto came along, after ignoring it initially many years ago, which I think a lot of people did, I couldn't ignore it any longer. A couple of years ago, after I really did some research and really realized the power and benefits, and also understanding the way we've traditionally done things based on at least my own experience with working with banks for so many years and other participants. So joined the Litecoin Foundation about 1.5 years ago, just to get involved, and wasn't even sure where I'd help, but started working on some different projects. And yeah, here I am. I'm continuing to do so.
Nice, man. Welcome to the channel, dude. It was good to see you all together over there at the Mammoth Film Festival, which we're going to talk about in a couple minutes. But how about eCurrency hodler, Andrew, whatever you want to call him, he'll take it. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, bought Bitcoin 2014, 13, 14-ish. It crashed to like 300, and then I totally forgot about it until 2017. Hit 1,000, then I just sold everything, and then of course it goes through 20K. And then that's when I started looking at other stuff like Litecoin, Bitcoin. Really like Litecoin. Saw a need in the space for just educational content. Started pumping out articles, and then that's when they invited me to help out at the Litecoin Foundation. And now I'm the volunteer and partnership coordinator. So yeah.
So official role of Litecoin Foundation, you said partnership coordinator.
Yeah, volunteer and partnership coordinator.
Okay. So not professor of education.
Ooh, the professor.
I like that better.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I'll change it.
We'll make
That's
that official.
all right. I like it. I like it. John Kim, who are you?
John Kim, simple man with a simple plan,
Simple man, simple plan.
and that's it.
Hey,
Short and sweet. You all know who John Kim is. Come on.
Well, no, there's probably some people here that might not. John, 15-second intro. 15-second intro. Come on.
So I'm Charlie Lee's bodyguard. I go out, push for adoption. That's my ultimate goal, is to bring about use case and adoption of Litecoin, not only for the US, but globally, so that billions of people who are unbanked could be banked and could participate in commerce. So the ultimate goal is to bring freedom of money to everyone in every society, not just the United States.
Heck yeah. Love it. That's what I'm talking about, John Kim. Thank you. And we see David Schwartz. He's here.
what?
Hey, look.
Dash in the house.
Hold on. I gotta
Bash
introduce
should be
my
late.
boy. So
Wow.
here he is. Daddy Cool 1991 on Twitter. David Schwartz, the project director of the Litecoin Foundation. The husband, the good dad, the good looking, the man with the guns, the man with the
just left.
face, the man with the military sense and the organizational skills to take the Litecoin Foundation to the next level. I give you David Schwartz.
Wow, man.
Salt and pepper too.
We didn't
Salt and
get that in
pepper.
kind of
That's a great
intro,
Yeah, I feel gypped.
That was incredible.
And that's how you make a late entrance.
I think you guys planned that. Did
No.
John, did he pay you to do that?
He pays me an XRP.
XRP.
Wow.
So, all right, Kyle, you want to do a nice little intro?
Yeah, it's not gonna be as exciting as John's, but yeah, I started. Well, I had the opportunity to buy Bitcoin in 13, and I passed it up like a fool, and then didn't really, pay attention to it until early 17, and then I jumped in with both feet once I started really researching the technology. And Litecoin was the coin I accumulated the most. It was my number one bag, and then Bitcoin and the other top 3 or 4 after that. But I just felt like Litecoin felt like it was more stable than the rest. It just felt like it was something I could really believe in. It just felt honest, and I didn't feel like that from a lot of the other projects that were out there. So it was a natural fit with Litecoin. And then I actually started talking to Charlie via Twitter in early 18, and I wanted to do a big marketing plan and a marketing push for Litecoin. And we got pretty far along in the process of planning, and we came up with some treatments and stuff. And then I went and did a couple movies back to back all throughout 18. And I just, it just fell to the wayside. So at the end of 18, I just kind of did a couple fun Litecoin commercials, and they got out there. And within like an hour of the first one being online, John Kim reached out to me on Twitter. It was like, yo, let me call you. And so we started talking. And he's like, I'm going to invite you in, and you can meet all these other guys. And then I met Dash, and then it just kind of all went from there. And now we've got a bunch of stuff going on.
Cool. Yeah, I was just actually telling you, I met a bunch of these guys. I feel like early 2018 is when I kind of met these guys, and so much has changed in the last year. One thing that has changed in the last year, David Schwartz, project director, Litecoin Foundation. What's up, David? Introduce yourself.
I think everybody kind of knows me by now. I don't want to go too far into it.
Wait a second.
I would hope.
This is saying everybody knows you, because John said the same thing, is assuming that we're really not early to crypto and there aren't any new people coming in. There are new people here, I guarantee you.
It's also a humble brag.
And you get the opportunity to humble.
That's a humble brag.
I like that word.
Alan's pretty good at that too.
Think about the
Stay humble though when you do it.
Think about the replay viewers in a year that stumble across this video.
All right. So what did everybody else do? Did they do their whole story or what?
No, man, just like 30 seconds, 1 minute.
All right. So September of 17, I stumbled onto Bitcoin as far as actually investing in it. And then shortly thereafter, you know, like I think most people, I started studying the other cryptos, and I realized that I really, really liked Litecoin, and not just for the technology part, but also for the community and the person who had created it. And so that whole run up in December, that was really fun. The whole run up in December was really fun. And so Twitter was a big place to kind of be talking about things. And that's when I ended up meeting a lot of you guys for the first time. And we had a group of us who happened to actually get into the Litecoin Slack for the foundation, for being a volunteer. And I just decided if I was going to be in there, I was going to try and do some things that were going to make a positive effect. And so I always joked with E at the beginning, because he was already in there and doing things. And when we started working on like the summit and a couple other things, I always thanked him for being a really nice babysitter for all the volunteers, because he was so cool to me and Dave Leibowitz and some other guys. He was very it was almost like in a mentoring kind of way. He made sure we understood how everything kind of worked within the foundation, as far as like, you know, the patience with the pace in which some of the things work, how some of the infrastructure was, as far as like who to talk to about what, and things like that. And so it just strengthened my belief even more in the community itself, because of people like Andrew, like E. And so it became this thing where it wasn't just something I would do at the end of the night, like before I went to bed. It started becoming literally a part of every facet of my life almost. I joke, yeah, like John, like some of the things, I mean, my God, I'd be sitting there in bed and it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm talking to John about just whatever. I mean, it's life stuff. It's about Litecoin and it's about whatever. And it just seemed to me, and it still seems to me, like the most genuine community out of all of them, where you can literally put yourself out there with people and get that reciprocated back to you. There's a trust there for the most part with a lot of people. And there's a genuine desire to see things go forward. And so that's, you know, going from the summit, which was for a first one with hardly anybody really knowing too much of how to do it, getting invited in to be the project director. And from there, it's just been a really cool story to this point for me. And I don't see it really ending anytime soon. And it's just getting magnified every day, which is the reason why I was late getting onto this call even. So good stuff happening. That's all I can say.
Yeah, look at you now. You're the director, the project director of Litecoin Foundation. I remember when he first came on the Slack, he had no idea. He was like, man, E, you know, I feel like I don't belong here. I'm like, what are you talking about? Now look at you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and Charlie always told me, he goes, look, when you become the director, you're not going to have, sometimes you're not going to be able to be so polite all the time. Because I was always asking people, hey, would you like to please do this? And what do you think about that? And he's like, sometimes you're gonna have to just tell them this is what we need to have done. And I'm like, all right. So.
Yeah, one thing about you, David, I remember when you came into the Slack channel, you did work immediately. I don't remember you coming in and being all confused. You organized that Litecoin summit so quickly. You were very efficient in doing that. So I think it makes sense of what you're doing these days. So.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, man. So what is it? And it's funny because I had this as a question I was going to ask you guys, and you just brought it up. What is it about? And I don't know if you meant Litecoin or cryptocurrency in general, but what is it about Litecoin, do you think, that seems to attract just like really cool, genuine people? Like, do any of you have any thoughts on what it is about Litecoin in particular? Like, why is that? It's something I've noticed, and a lot of people have noticed.
It's probably, well, for me, it's the top-down leadership from Charlie.
Yep.
I mean, it's like he's the most honest guy in the space. You know, you don't ever really you see him talking hyperbole or being too dramatic or too salesy. He breaks it down, even if it's not the best news. And I think you can't help but respect that, and the community follows.
Perfect.
100%.
Perfect. I think he took the words right out of my mouth. In every business that I've been to, every culture, the leadership, you know, it kind of trickles down. how that culture is cultivated. And I just think that, like, I remember joking around with Charlie sometimes about something, and he's like, "But that's not right." I'm just like, "Bro, I was just kidding. You don't have to like call me out." So now I know there's a line, you know, where it's very clear what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do, and that's why I like, you know, being next to him, because I learned so much about character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
would
it's not-
agree. Oh, go ahead.
Go for it, Alan.
No, I agree with those things. I think also you can add that, you know, Litecoin was a fair distribution from the very beginning. And it wasn't too long after Litecoin that you had this whole world of ICOs and other things come out, centralized stuff. People, you know, obviously distributing their own tokens before going on the market, and I think that created a lot of concern with trust. So when you're looking at, and I think the longer something survives, the more that trust builds. So when you look at Litecoin, not only does it align with Bitcoin for the most part, but it's been around. It's one of the longer, older, you know, most time-tested currencies, and it was distributed fairly. You know, Charlie never had any advantage over anybody else in either buying or mining his coins. So when you add those things, I think it just adds to the attraction.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember. I mean, that's how it was for me. And I saw we had a comment in the chats. Dominic LTC. Many of you know Dom. You've met him in Jersey. But he said honesty. That was his thing. And so that, for me, you know, I went into Coinbase like when I first got into crypto, like many people out there. I bought some Bitcoin, right? And then I'm like, what's this? Litecoin. You start looking into it and you're like, you know, it's like, it's very similar to Bitcoin, but it's faster. So that like intrigued me. And then I dig, and then I come across Charlie Lee. And I've said this before. I think just seeing him and how he was on Twitter, not even really knowing much about him, that was kind of like the thing that sold it to me. And so, you know, moving forward, I don't know how happy he is with that, of people just kind of looking to him as they're entering crypto. But that's what did it for me. And I think honesty, like Dom just said in the chat, I think is a huge part of it. So, I've reached out to you guys because there was a lot going on with the recent Mammoth Film Festival, right? And there's definitely some people in this live stream that aren't aware of what was going on there. So guys, I don't know who wants to take the lead here, but what was going on at the Mammoth Film Festival?
Kyle.
Yeah, I'll take it. So Mammoth is a film festival, which, you know, if you guys aren't familiar with film festivals, they're a huge part of the film industry. Most films are not giant studio films. They're independent films that are independently financed and put together by independent producers. And not all of them can get into Sundance or Toronto or Cannes, you know, all the major film festivals. So there's a whole circuit of really great film festivals out there. Mammoth is one of them. It's a newer fest, but the cool thing about it is it started, the core group of people who started the film festival are producers and actors with tons of producer friends and actor friends, you know, like big name actors. So like automatically there's a high value of the people involved. And so, and I'm a part of that. I'm on the board of Mammoth Film Festival. And so, and these guys are not just filmmakers, but they're all technology enthusiasts, etc. So it was a natural fit for me to kind of bridge the two. And do something with Litecoin, which is, you know, my favorite coin by a long shot. And so, you know, we brought them in. It was a perfect opportunity to meet a bunch of celebrities and a bunch of other filmmakers, you know, of all different sizes and success levels, and introduce them to Litecoin and cryptocurrency at large. And it was a 4-day event. We all had a really great time. We got snowed in a huge blizzard, but it was a blast. And I think the guys had a great time as well. And it was just like a good trial run, you know, for something kind of outside the normal crypto conference. I think, you know, a lot to learn from, but a lot to be excited about in the future as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, that snow was insane, dude. It was like 6 foot, 7 foot high. Like I've never been in that much snow ever.
Yeah, it was like The Shining.
It was like two Andrews
with these shoes that he was wearing.
So I'm curious because like when I was watching it go on, and I think you and I, Kyle, were just talking about this a little bit before we went live. Where does, because that's its own little niche, right? Film. Where does film and crypto like come together, like that crossroads? What does that look like?
Well, it's you know, it's just like any other industry, but the mouthpiece is larger. You know, all these people have followings, you know, these celebrities and whatnot, and you know, they're able to get their message out to a large group of people very, very quickly. So if you can infiltrate this group of actors and producers in Hollywood, and a lot of people already are huge enthusiasts of it. I mean, a lot of my producing friends and actor friends are really excited about crypto, and they have been for a couple years. And so the more of these people we can get out there and be tweeting about it and Instagramming about it and making it normal, really the normalization of Litecoin, Bitcoin, and crypto at large is really what's going to spur adoption. So, you know, I don't want to say it's more special than anything else. I mean, every single person that you know falls in love with crypto is a huge win, you know, for the overall space. But if you can get a microcosm of people who have a huge outreach to be into it, then that should be for sure a goal. And I think that's one of my goals as part of the foundation, is to kind of infiltrate that community.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's very similar to I mean, obviously it's kind of like a channel of marketing, right? It's like UFC being on the UFC was a channel. So it's kind of its own little niche channel.
Exactly.
Cool. What, I guess, when you guys were there, I mean, what was going on? I mean, what was happening? You know, what was everybody talking about? I'm kind of curious into what even the conversations looked like around crypto.
Well, John was jumping around like a little butterfly, like he normally does, and getting people on video. And that was fun. You were also sick though that weekend, so I felt like we didn't get the full JK experience.
But you know what was cool? Like just knowing Kyle and being able to like have access to everything because we knew Kyle, because Kyle was
Kyle's the man.
Kyle was the man there. So for the first time, it was easy for me to make videos and do stuff because I literally knew somebody on the inside that allowed me to. I didn't have to sneak around and do and do what I had to do. So, but I think overall, David had the best time because I don't know, he's just good at just easing into conversations with superstars. I come in like a wrecking ball. He comes in like the smooth operator.
Okay, so I mean, David, and you can attest, right? What did a conversation with a superstar look like? I mean, what does that look like?
It looked like a conversation I would have with a waitress at a restaurant. I mean, they were literally they were in their element, right? Mm-hmm. So they were around people that they trust, that they know. Like the bowling tournament was a lot of fun because they're having a good time while they're there. Kyle obviously had access to basically all the people that we ended up interviewing. As a matter of fact, Kyle ended up interviewing a lot of them because I just thought it was a better fit. They know him. So when he asks the questions, I just record. And you see the guys like the directors from Airplane Mode and a few other people, they just opened up and gave their story. And I thought it was really cool. But in reality, when you're talking to them on the side off the camera, they're the same way. They're just people, just like John says and other people say and myself. They're regular people who happen to have a job where they're in the spotlight a lot. And it may be a little harder to get them to trust you or to open up. But once they realize you're not there to sell them anything, you're not there to use them in some illicit way or in a negative way, they were very, very, very nice. I met some of the nicest people I met were like Chris Zilka and Kat Graham and some of the guys that hung out with Kyle, some of the producers and directors there. Very, very nice people. And more than welcome, more than happy to just kind of give their 2 cents on what they thought about cryptocurrencies in general. But I'll tell you one thing, almost every single one of them was like, oh my God, Kyle will not shut up about Litecoin. All he wants to talk about to us is Litecoin. And they were so happy to be able to equate that now with, people from the foundation who were literally there. So it was kind of fun to hear their stories on how active Kyle was behind the scenes, at whether he's talking to them, I'm guessing at either, when they're doing movies or when they see him on the side. But Kyle is a big advocate for Litecoin within that industry. And I think it was very comforting for me too, to know that it wasn't just him saying, here you have open access to these people that I may or may not know well. He literally knows them in the sense that he knows how they're going to be and how they're going to act and how interested they are. And it turned out to be, really productive.
Great accommodator. He
Yeah.
accommodated us like very well. And I literally felt like I was one of the celebrities, because when he introduced to all of us, to everyone, he literally made us feel like that we belong there. We're somebody important. So, but I think Alan and E had a good time too. E ended up stealing a TV from the store.
Wait, what?
He did. We have it on video. We'll show it to you later.
What did Andrew do? He stole a TV?
Yeah, it was tough times. Litecoin went down a little bit, so he decided to rob a store.
He stole his own TV.
We'll post it again for everybody. And I was too busy shoveling the snow off my car while these guys were watching.
Hey, we did a little panel with Katie and these guys, this popular guys, and you know who I was really surprised at? Alan. Like, you know how Alan never gets to go on YouTube and really interview, but like I was very pleasantly surprised by his knowledge and his ability to speak.
Alan did a great job. He always does a great job. Hey, is that Nicole, Kyle?
No, this is Jared. I was on mute.
Oh,
you guys know Jared.
Oh, hey, where's Jared? Jared, what's up, man?
What's up, Jared?
He can't hear you. He's just waving.
Okay.
Okay.
So was Jared at the Mammoth Lakes Film Festival?
Yeah, Jared's my producing partner. We do movies together. Yeah, go to dinner.
Get out of here, Jared.
Leave me
Leave me alone.
So Alan, I heard that you may start a podcast. Is this true? Is this rumor true?
What?
Really?
Yeah, that's the plan. A short series of podcasts, starting with you guys.
Can you be more excited about that, please?
It's so important. I will be. I'm working on all the background stuff right now.
Yeah,
I'm actually excited to talk to you guys and some people. I mean, there's so many amazing people in the space that are really, giving up so much of maybe other things they've done over the years just because they believe in it, and often making, huge financial sacrifices to do the things they do today for a better tomorrow. And I think that's pretty amazing. Like with all, everybody we work with together. I mean, one of the great things there is everybody's bringing sort of different value and skill sets to the table, but we're all looking at, the same common goal, which is to see this be a success. And so, yes.
What's it called, Alan?
Hopefully in the next month, it's going to kick ass.
What's it called?
The Crypto Bull.
Really nice. This is news, right? This is brand new news.
Wait, what's the news? What
Breaking news.
Alan's going to be releasing a podcast called The Crypto Bull. I love it, man.
That's a solid name.
I'm sure it's going to be better than Dan's.
We're going to have some fun with it too.
Hey, probably.
Maybe we'll crank call some people like Charlie on it.
No, he's really serious, guys.
I'm dead serious.
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. That would be like a crypto first. I would totally subscribe. You have my subscription.
I'd be like, Hero.
Should do like a crypto and practical jokes.
Ruined it though by talking about it.
Can you please?
I'm excited. I'm working on a couple. It's just anyway.
No, I'm
crypto
gonna
crypto
get
and practical jokers. That's what you need to do.
That would be hilarious. I'm gonna get the phone numbers of all like the influential people in this place and send them to you, dude. And then all I want to see is just prank calls.
I've been practicing.
We'll end each one with a crank call. How about that,
Alan? I've been practicing on my Litecoin in 5 different countries. How to say Litecoin in 5 different countries. So
you guys speak in 5 different languages.
Yeah,
this is gonna get so racist.
Let's hear it.
Fast.
Litecoin.
This is gonna get so racist.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
You want to see it? All right. Here's Korean. Here's Korean.
Oh no!
You're gonna get my channel. You're gonna get a strike on my channel.
That's okay. I'm Asian.
Channel banned, dude.
So here's Korean. Okay. 100%. Korean saying like this.
Gosh, here we go.
Litecoin. And then here's Japanese. Litecoin desho. And then here's Chinese. Litecoin.
I'm
And
sorry.
then here's Vietnamese. You guys ready for Vietnamese? So those are my 4.
Dude, why are they all Asian? Like, why?
Because if I did another race, I would get slaughtered on Twitter.
You could have done Brooklyn. You could have done Southern.
Yo.
Killing me.
Litecoin.
Like, what is that? JK accent.
But anyways, yo, another thing I want to talk about, Kyle, is that, you know, when he said on Valentine's Day, Litecoin is my true love. You know, a lot of people claim to love Litecoin, but when you meet them, you really realize they love Litecoin because they always say, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't put this much time in. My wife's mad at me, or this is affecting my work. And we have this deep conversation about stepping away for a little bit just to, you know, and then 2 days later, they're right back. They're right back doing 10 times more than they used to. It's just like this true love that we just can't get away from, even though it's hard financially or with our business, with our time and energy. So Kyle, tell us, man, what is passion and what does Litecoin really mean to you in your life right now? Because I know your wife's kind of waiting like this too, right? Man, the price better go up.
No, actually, you know, the thing, what makes it really easy is the fact that my wife is just as much into it as I am. You know, she doesn't know all the technicals, but, you know, she's excited about it. She totally believes in it. She lets me spend as much money as, you know, we have available without, you know, blowing our wad into it. And I don't get any grief. So she makes it really easy for me to be passionate. And I think that's
Nicole
really
is the bomb, man. Nicole is awesome.
She's the best.
She's so pretty.
And if she didn't, like, it would be like a secret, like, drug addiction or something. Like, that's how you have to treat it, where, like, you know, you're like your chick on the side, you got your burner phone.
Hey, but that's
your Coinbase account's on your burner phone.
I know, but you're not over exaggerating though. It almost seems like an addiction, right?
Well, it fully is an addiction, yeah. But it's not. I think it's something that I feel like it's the only addiction where I don't feel like I'm losing money, even though we're in a bear market right now. I feel like the end result of this is it's an addiction into future prosperity. And I'm addicted to the future prosperity that comes with cryptocurrency. And I fully believe in the technology and, you know, and what will come. I really do. That's what makes it easy. It's not a fad. It makes it easy because it's the real deal. I think that's why we're all here.
Addicted to the future. The future prosperity. I like that explanation. That's pretty cool. Because I always ask that question to myself. Like, I get excited myself about crypto all the time, right? Every day. It gets me going. I love working in the space, but I'm always like, I sit back sometimes. I'm like, what is it? Like, what's so exciting about this? What is getting everybody so pumped up about it? So that was a really good way to explain it very simply. Alan, what gets you pumped up about
it? Geez, well, it must be something because I've been doing real estate for many years, and when I wake up, I think about crypto, and my business has without question suffered because I've just spent so much time working on crypto. But I feel like this is are we talking about crypto in general, or are we talking about Litecoin specific?
Yeah, I mean, really crypto, Litecoin.
I believe in the power of what it could truly do. And I'm not, you know, and I hope that, you know, in my lifetime, I see some of these things. I mean, you know, obviously there's opportunity I've been an investor for many years, and of course there's an opportunity there, but, you know, I believe that will follow, but the world is changing, and this is, like, I think the first time as long as I can remember where there's real solutions that will provide, you know, a greater good for the people in general, and finally, hopefully, remove some of the control and power that we've been dealing with for years and years. And you know, hopefully that this will be, you know, something that everybody will be able to participate in. And I can't necessarily pinpoint one specific thing, but I just see you know, a lot of great opportunities with not only with money, with crypto, but I think there's a lot of other potential solutions that could be done better in other businesses by decentralizing. And not necessarily everything, but certain things that will just give users more privacy, and just really put people in control of their life. I've always been someone that believes that, you know, people should take responsibility, and this is a great solution for that. So
I want to throw this out there real quick because I'm curious. There's obviously so many different things that can excite us and get us hype about Litecoin. We can just say Litecoin if we want. If I threw this question out, I want to go down the line. What, in percentage wise, 1 to 100%, what percentage of crypto and Litecoin is that gets you excited is attributed to the financial gain opportunity? Does that make sense? Like, is 50% of it that gets you excited because of the financial gain? Are you here 100% because of the financial opportunity?
Dan, what are you trying to do, bro? I mean,
Hey man, it's something I wonder all the time, and I've got.
They're
it's a
gonna
good question. It's a
they're
great
gonna
question.
question our motive and our passion from now on.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
It's a legit question. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I would say if you were to ask me a year ago, I'd say it was probably 80 to 90% of my motivation, and now it's probably about 30 to 40. But I think being at least in the position that I'm in right now, it's so interesting how that perspective changed. Because with every person that I talk to about it, I realize there's a situation for every single person that crypto fits, that changes their lifestyle, or it changes the people around them or their situation. And so for me, it's probably only 30 or 40% now, the prosperity part of it. And I'm assuming as this goes on, it's probably going to dwindle even more. But I mean, my God, the companies that I talk to, or the organizations, or the other things that happen, I don't have to sell anything. It literally just naturally comes out that it's going to be one of 3 different facets, or 2 or 3 of these 3 different facets, or all 3 of them. It's either going to be something technological, financial, or personal that's going to affect them, right? And at the end of every conversation, their eyes are just completely wide open to something that they never thought of before. Like last night, I bought a vehicle for my older daughter, right? And so the car salesman, by the end, he's asking me, you know, how do I get into Coinbase? How do I start this whole thing, right? And it was a conversation that started with my wife warning him before I got there that, hey, he's going to be buying a car from you, but he's also going to try and sell you on this thing called Litecoin, right? So it's kind of funny how that happened. And then my boss today, he's always joked around that I'm the Bitcoin guy. And then today, after a meeting we sat for half an hour, and I explained to him how the blockchain worked and all these other things, and he was just completely fascinated with it. And the more I talk to people, the more I realize this isn't just a prosperity thing. This is a life-changing thing. So for me, it's probably about 30% right now.
Love that. I like that answer, and that makes a ton of sense. So, you guys are.
That's being honest. I mean, honestly, when I came into the space, it was about making some money. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I don't want to make any money on it now. It's just that's a byproduct of what is now a part of my life. It's not the main goal anymore. So
definitely. It's see, there are no rules. So we have everybody else that's going to answer. I mean, there's a sliding scale in David's answer. So, and that was a great answer, because that's actually, if I had to answer, that's exactly the same for me.
30%.
So, well, actually probably in that 40 to 50% range. But when I got into crypto, it was 100% the reason. But then as I pivoted my business into crypto, and I met people, and I started getting, allowing that creative side of me to work in the crypto space, the reasons for being here shifted a little bit. But obviously the financial reasons are still there. It's just that the impact of it isn't as strong. So how about you, John?
For me, it was 100% money when I first started, right? Because I didn't know about the revolutionary aspect of what a Bitcoin and Litecoin blockchain can do. But, you know, when you're a nobody, right? I'm not saying nobody like you're a nobody, but in the social media space, you don't have a loud voice. You can only scream so much to get people's attention. And I just feel like as it went on, the only way that I can actually make help change things is to really help with adoption. That's my voice. That's my part. And instead of screaming and tweeting and judging people and warning people about the Fed and our corrupted banking system, I thought that as I go out and push for adoption and I go hard at it, because I'm an either all in or out type of person. I'm a black or white. I don't do the whole in between, you know, that warm thing. So I just feel like what I'm doing, I'm making more of a change with my actions than I could with my words, with my, you know, limited followers and my limited voice. So it started as 100%. Now I can honestly say that I can lose everything and I wouldn't change anything, because just being able to be with Charlie and just learn from him and to be able to meet like Alan, I can go literally every side of the United States and I have a place to stay now. You know what I mean? And it's not like this place where I go and I have to like sleep all uncomfortable because I feel like I don't belong there, but it's like open arms, my house is yours kind of a thing. And I feel like personally, I've gained way more than anybody in Litecoin as far as friendships concerned, just warmth, care, you know, attention. So I was at 100%. Now I don't really care. Yes, if it goes to a certain price, I'm probably okay for the rest of my life. But right now, my main focus is that I just want more people to have my attitude, where stop arguing, but show with your actions, because it really does make change, you know?
You started a new campaign. What's that campaign?
Oh, no negativity, hashtag culture of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
like
helped. It really helped me out a lot, because I stopped being negative. So I stopped myself. So it's kind of like purifying my heart right now, because I'm not trying to like defend everything, you know, anymore. So
You know what I actually appreciated was like your tweet to the Digibyte community. It was just like, Digibyte, you're this, you're that, you're that. It was just kind of honorific. And even though they're very, you know, sometimes they can be kind of really negative towards you, you're just like, you know, I'm just going to honor you and let that be that. I refuse to participate in the negativity. I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, and that tweet took off.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was gonna have that much effect, but I think I won a lot of people over. See, there's a saying in my country: you can't spit on a smiling
The United
face.
States, Texas, in my country.
In my country,
I'm calling you on your BS, John. I'm calling you. Let's go. All right.
No, seriously, it
Go,
says
go.
in my country they say you cannot spit on a smiling face. So I don't know what that means to you, but if you're constantly smiling all the time, it's really difficult for people to spit at you and be negative towards you. So I just felt like I wanted to see if that works. It's like an experiment on Twitter. See what happens after a month, you know. So
I like it.
Me too, Dan.
Some very
Kim,
welcome
leading.
positivity.
Yeah, definitely. Leading with love. So speaking to that, like, I mean, you guys are all, first of all, you guys, I know you guys are putting in the work, right, behind the scenes, much of the community doesn't even see. So first off, thank you for all that you guys do. But second off, you know, kind of being entrenched in Litecoin Foundation and what's going on, how do you, John just spoke to this a little bit, but that approach, because as this grows, this is going to become a bigger like talking point and challenge, which is you have all these other communities, right? In these cryptos, it's almost becoming like sports teams. And you know how sports teams are, like hating on each other and the fans are hating each other. How do you lead in that environment? I mean, how do you handle that in terms of reacting on social media and addressing their hate comments, which often aren't even true about the technology?
Just ignore it. It's
Yeah.
hilarious to me. It's just such wasted energy, and it's so petty. You know, when you believe in something, you know, like we do in Litecoin, Bitcoin, and you know, the general cryptocurrency space for the most part, or the concept of it, it's really hard to ignore all the noise and just focus on what we're doing behind the scenes, which is adoption and positivity and building. So I look at Twitter as it's like another TV show. It's just entertaining to me. I mean, it's just like a giant meme show, and I think it's fun. I think it's cathartic. People like to, you know, it's good to get on there and rip on somebody or read about someone ripping on somebody. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything at all, because we're focused.
Definitely. I agree. I see, you know, articles that come out that are just completely false. And I always sit back and I wonder, you know, how will those things be addressed as the space grows, because it's going to grow, right? So what challenges do you guys see in terms of Litecoin adoption?
Perfect example is the reason why I came on late onto this today was I was talking to an organization, and we've been talking to them for a little bit, and they presented the issue that another cryptocurrency is now interested in trying to do something with them. And because we had already started this process, the guy was nice enough to basically say, you know, what do you think about that? He let me know about it. And that tells me that we're in a time where, because of the things that we've started to do over the last 8 weeks, are affecting others. And they're affecting them in a positive way, right? Because now they're realizing we got to get off our butts and, you know, really do some work. We can't just keep talking in these echo chambers we've been in. We got to actually do something. So for me, it validated the efforts that we've been putting into it, but I can see it being a challenge going forward, because it's going to become one of those foot races where everybody's going to be trying to do the land grab when everybody was moving out west in the United States, right? So you're talking about the 1800s and early 1900s, everybody's moving out west, and literally it's grab what you can and try and stake your claim. And that's kind of where we're starting to head now as far as adoption goes. That's going to be a problem.
So staying ahead,
or at least staying relevant. I think we do have an inside track on the fact that, you know, we basically started some of this stuff first. Granted, Bitcoin's obviously a more notable name, but I do believe, just based off of the noise that we've been able to make over the last few months, that we've put ourselves in a position that others have to play catch up. So it's a matter of staying ahead of that.
Do you think I'm sorry, go ahead, E. Did you say something?
I was going to say something.
Alan.
If he had to say something. E.
No, go ahead, Alan.
No, I 100% agree with David. It's also, the other challenge is just the population in general. I mean, this is still so new and young, and most people have heard of say cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and maybe Litecoin, but most don't really understand much. So it's education, and you have a situation where you have a lot of ICOs and other companies that maybe raise money that have the money to advertise and promote, and so and not necessarily really get the true knowledge out there. So I think it's going to just take some time for people to really understand and get involved. And so on one hand, we're doing everything. The goal is for us to do everything we can. It's also going to just take some time because this is so young, and it's important that people, we just stick to our guns and.
Yeah, so I agree with
process.
Alan. Other people have like war chests, like Ripple has like, I don't know, a million, trillion, billion, whatever war chests like that they can use to just pay for stuff, right? Pay for celebrity guest spots and all that stuff. Litecoin Foundation doesn't have that, and it's because what Alan was talking about before, it was fairly distributed, right? We don't have any founders rewards like Zcash does or Dash does. We rely solely on donations, and so something we've got to actually get better at is like figuring out business revenue but also this is where like people have to just buck up and contribute, right? If you're in a position where you can have influence, like we need you, right? We need you guys to step up to reach out to us, and so that we can, you know, get there before other people get there before people with war chests or dev funds get there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like if you guys can be like Kyle Tequila, right? Like if you can be like him and just use your position of influence to get us in there, and so that we can have reputable, like sound money, like non-scammy projects there first, I think it would significantly help the whole world of adoption more.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Interesting, because I'm glad you guys, I mean, I don't even have to ask the question. I was going to ask you, you know, all the cryptos and cryptocurrency, what is going to keep Litecoin ahead of the curve? You know, like what is going to have Litecoin at the top of the game? And I guess that kind of answers that question.
Well, but also the fact that like we're pushing boundaries, like even on the technology side, right? Like we're implementing like Mimblewimble through extension blocks. Yeah. Like no other cryptocurrency has ever done what we're trying to do with extension blocks. Zcash has opt-in privacy. They had that from the get-go. But for us to kind of soft fork in privacy of Mimblewimble through extension blocks, I think is crazy. I think it's really creative. It requires a lot of creativity to implement. And who knows, maybe it's something that might get pushed upstream to Bitcoin too. So adding private transactions also makes us more like sound money through fungibility. So I think that in of itself is a really good sign. Speaking of that,
I want to ask you, Zuhair, he sent us a live super chat just, you know, half hour ago, actually. He said, is Litecoin looking at integrating with the Beam network in some way, or will the Litecoin Mimblewimble extension be a competing offering?
Yeah, so we're going to have Mimblewimble inside the Litecoin blockchain. So we're not going to, we don't know, like nothing's set in stone. I'm drafting up, like Charlie and I are working on the lib right now, but yeah, I don't think we're going to treat Beam like a side chain. So it'll be Litecoin specific, I think. Okay, cool.
Do you, and this might be a good question for you too, but anybody really, and this would probably get some hate, you know, depending on who watches this video, of me just even proposing the thought of this. But first off, sometimes I have to step back and realize how small the cryptocurrency space is. Like I feel like the whole world knows about it until like I actually take notice to the fact that most people don't, and they're not watching. But as crypto grows, right? Obviously right now, Bitcoin is king. Everybody knows Bitcoin, the Bitcoin brand, whatever. Is there anything, do you think, that Litecoin could do, any innovative process, you know, in regards to its tech, or even from a marketing perspective in the future, right? Not right now, but sometime, where Litecoin is literally as big a name as Bitcoin?
I think it's inevitable, to be honest. It's just slow and steady wins the race. You know, Litecoin has an advantage of being one of the currencies with the greatest amount of integrity, and in a space that's full of skepticism and scamminess, integrity is going to win the day. So I think we have a huge leg up. It's just like anything. It's just going to take time, and one person falling in love with it at a time, and that's just going to take. It's going to take as long as it takes, but we're here to help every single day. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. These guys aren't going anywhere. So
yeah, and he as he mentioned, you know, we're talking about, we're looking at confidential transactions. So we're trying to do things that are, you know, to make Litecoin the best, have the strongest, you know, one of the best cryptocurrencies out there to be useful for what we're trying to achieve. So I think that will help. You know, we are on all key exchanges. It's one of the most liquid coins. I think you mentioned some good point, Dan. I mean, not only is cryptocurrency in general very, you know, we're involved, so it's easy to think that the whole world knows about it, but they really don't. And even more so, even fewer people know about Litecoin. But the fact that it's on all the key exchanges, everybody that starts getting involved, I think will take note fairly quickly, and doing the things that we're doing, hopefully will help. We're just fine tuning the Litecoin.
You know, whenever I ask people to go out and just visit a business or visit a friend, the only reason I'm asking people to do that is because I want them to know experientially how early we are. Because I remember first month of me going out, I was literally depressed. I could not believe I invested this much money in something that people didn't even want for free. Like, I couldn't give in the Midwest. Like, you couldn't even give away Bitcoin or Litecoin. They're like, no, I don't want it, So whenever I'm on Twitter and people are all talking about this, they got a huge vocabulary and they're just sitting there and arguing. And I always say, would you just go out so that you can actually see what's really going on in the real world and how early we are? Nobody wants to challenge me on that, but they want to challenge me on the security and what kind of code, and it's just nonsense to me. And one thing I don't like about this is going to be controversial, but I'm a very controversial person. So, Bitcoin is supposed to be decentralized, right? But there's a Satoshi roundtable. There's this group of people that literally judges and thinks that they're defending Bitcoin. And it's it just goes against what decentralization means. Whenever they come out and they're this defender of Bitcoin. And then on the next sentence, they say, nobody, affects Bitcoin. Bitcoin runs on its own. And you see these people coming together, and I'm starting to see like this hierarchy, right? From the Satoshi's roundtable. I had a guy arguing with me the other day, I think with E. He says, do you know who I am? I was at the Satoshi's roundtable. Like, look, you know why Litecoin's gonna win? Because I know in the background there's no Satoshi's table, and there's even Charlie is not here trying to tell everybody what to do. He's all about consensus and like how everybody agree on doing something together. And I just feel like Bitcoin with Craig Wright, with the SV, and you guys know Kevin Pham switching over, old Litecoin developers switching over, all of a sudden, overnight, I don't know what happened. They must have had a revelation that SV was the real Bitcoin, and they just have a change of heart. And they come out on YouTube and they talk about it. So money talks, BS walks. But I'm gonna stick with Kyle. At the end of the day, true people with integrity will win. So that's what I'm betting on. Just like Kyle said, Litecoin is a project with integrity, and it doesn't have this crazy people trying to protect it and control it. So I just believe that the major people that's involved in Litecoin, I really love them as a human being and as a person, and they don't have this like really weird controlling spirit about them. And that's what I'm scared for Bitcoin about, because there's so much issues. It's like a bad Jerry Springer show right now.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on that. So I don't know, everybody's experienced somebody, like if you ever played a sport, there are people who have the natural talent for it, and then there are those that have to work for it, right? But the ones who end up becoming the solid professionals in any type of a sport, they're not just the ones who are naturally talented, they're also the ones that realize they have to work towards it. And it's a constant grind, and it's a constant improvement on themselves and the craft in which they're in. And I find that to be how the Litecoin, at least the people that I've worked with within the Litecoin Foundation or developers that I've met, that's how they look at things. They don't look at things like they're some naturally gifted superstar who just can go off of their talents and not actually work at anything. They're the ones who are those guys or those gals that you see who are in a sport who end up having to work really, really hard because they were always told they were only going to be mediocre. And they end up being the people who are the 7th round draft pick who becomes the Hall of Fame quarterback or whoever else, right? That's kind of how I see Litecoin, and even the environment now. Because if you look at certain environments, and you can say the Bitcoin environment, I don't know if it's necessarily they're most interested in the what's best for Bitcoin as they are most interested in what's best for their wallet. If they're heavily invested in Bitcoin because that's what they jumped on in the early stages, and they happen to be an early stage adopter, it doesn't make you the protector of crypto in general. It just makes you a person who is lucky enough to do something the rest of us are just catching up on now. It doesn't make you any better. It doesn't make the product necessarily any better. But it's going to be the people who decide to do something about their conviction and something to do with the passion that they have for the project that they're backing. Okay, and that's how I believe, combined with the integrity and the ideals of the people that are part of the Litecoin Foundation and the community itself, that's why I believe it's going to be, if not equal to Bitcoin, slightly behind it or in front of it. And
let's just agree, and it doesn't necessarily have to be equal. I mean, it just has to do what its what its purpose is. And but let's look back. I mean, a lot has really happened. It's kind of hard to see sometimes when you look at things on a daily basis. But if we just look back in the last year or two, with Litecoin, it's come a long way. I mean, it's come very far. So I think it's, and I strongly believe that'll continue, likely exponentially as we move forward. So.
One last thing I think it's important is that Litecoin has a clear focus, and that's payments. And so, we're not like, who knows what the hell half these other coins are trying to be. They all have these giant grand visions of trying to be everything at once. And that's where they're going to fail. Litecoin is good at doing one incredible thing, and that's quick, easy, secure payments. And that's the focus, and that's why it will survive.
Am I the only one that really is so big and excited about Litecoin having zero downtime in 7+ years? I mean, I don't know why whenever I say that with such enthusiasm, because I don't know of any other blockchain that could say that. That could say that they've been going for that long without a hiccup, without any downtime. And for me, that's my biggest, something that I'm really proud of as far as Litecoin is concerned, because it shows how reliable and how good the Litecoin blockchain is, So what do you guys think? You guys, tell me. Being reliable, having zero downtime. I mean, because Wells Fargo just had a downtime, right? So how important is that in the blockchain space?
You're on mute.
He's on mute.
Oh, is he?
Test 1 2.
There you go.
Okay, there.
Yeah, no, I think zero downtime that has a lot of shows a lot of reliability and puts a lot. It's like a huge vote of confidence for Litecoin. But it's also because it's a fork of Bitcoin, right? And so all the code goes through the rigorous scrutiny of Bitcoin core devs, and then they're making the ones who are making the changes in their code first, and then we fork it. And so if there is downtime, then Bitcoin kind of goes through it first, and then Litecoin can adjust it accordingly afterwards. So that's one of the reasons why. Yeah, so I just, like the whole, Bitcoin toxicity thing. Yeah, I hate Bitcoin extremism, I think, but I do like the fact that there are people who are opinionated, people who are, who can think for themselves, because I think that's actually a really good thing. It's a really good sign. It almost ensures that there won't be any centralizations, because you have so many different opinions. And then, I don't think Litecoin's ever gonna replace Bitcoin. Everybody in this chat, my first recommendation to you is to buy at least one Bitcoin, own that for yourself, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think Litecoin's going to overturn Bitcoin, because I just don't. But I still love Litecoin. I still believe in it, and I think it should be a lot more than it is right now. But yeah.
So let me tell you, I was thinking about this on the way home tonight, because I remember we were going to be having this chat, and I was thinking about, where in history do you have the psyche of the human being realize there can only be one thing to exchange for goods or for anything else? It never, ever happens. There's always something. If there's finally a determined item or a thing that humankind finds valuable, they end up hoarding it, right? They end up hoarding that, and they hold it, because that's the thing that now everybody is determined to be valuable, and there's a set value to that if they give it up, they feel like they're giving up something of themselves. and then they end up utilizing something else in its place as more of a regular exchange. And I honestly believe that's the reason why Litecoin will survive, is because you can't. Bitcoin is going to become that thing that everybody just holds, and if it becomes a singular world currency, you could have some serious implications on the negative side happen if you do not have something else to take that place, right? To be able to exchange between human beings. It can get really ugly. And so I believe that you do need to have an additional form of some type of exchange beyond just Bitcoin. And I believe because Litecoin is so similar to Bitcoin, it doesn't compete with it, yet it's still similar enough that people can identify with it. I believe that's another reason as to why it would end up being that form of exchange or that payments method that Kyle was talking about earlier. So you can never forget about the fact that the human psyche and psychology and sociology and all the things that get wrapped up into who we are as people still ends up affecting the outcome of something, regardless of what the technology is, regardless of what the mode is. This is just how we function as human beings.
Namely, we like options.
Correct.
And we're living in a world where we have internet. Unless the whole world comes under a dictatorship, there's no. I just don't believe that the world that we're living in, with so much freedom and internet and everybody has so much information, that one Bitcoin is going to be the currency for the whole world, unless somebody mandates that to be so, you know. So it's just the world is so open now and so connected. So I just can't see a world where everybody has to. The only currency that's ever going to be used is Bitcoin. People just
I think that's a bit of a stretch. Like if you want something that is sound money, like something that's like a cheaper option to Bitcoin, then you go with Litecoin. I mean, that's what it's designed for. That's why it's 4 times as fast, so that the fees are 4 times cheaper. That's why it's 4 times the supply. And if you guys want to hear like a good perspective, like a good counter argument to the whole Bitcoin standard thing, you should listen to Stephen Livera's podcast with Andreas Antonopoulos. I think Andreas lays it out like pretty well, like a pretty good reasoning for why, you know, it's not just going to be like a winner take all. And it's by looking at history. If you look at history, you know, you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Litecoin, you have all these other coins. And so even though Bitcoin may have the market share, the dominant market share, you can have the long tail end of crypto where there are other coins that make up the rest, right? And so I think that's a plausible thesis, and you know, it's validated by history. I think claiming that there is going to be a one winner take all, I don't know. It's a theory. There's nothing that's actually proved that to this point, and so I understand
it'll work in North Korea. Well, if you mandate it, but we have freedom in this world. There's no way every single person. We can't even agree on which restaurant. 5 of us can't agree on which restaurant we want to go to. You think the whole world is going to agree to use Bitcoin only? I just don't see that happening.
Unless it's mandated, everybody, and there's no way that that's going to happen in this type of society that we live in now. Right, there's no way that one entity is going to be able to do that unless it's something so cataclysmic that it's forced upon everybody.
Yeah.
So options, exactly.
And I mean, we look at like the if you think about Bitcoin and the growth, I mean, and you know, the store of value and you know, the two key values are store of value and payments for payment type currencies. I think it's pretty clear that with Bitcoin, at least as the digital gold, at least for the foreseeable future, it will be much more of a store of value for people, especially as it grows, as the volatility, you know, decreases and so forth, and it will continue to probably grow as a store of value for a long time. At the same time, you're going to have a demand from merchants and others that want to take advantage of you know, payment solutions. And you know, we're already seeing a growing demand with Litecoin and in general, merchants that want a better way of accepting a payment and consumers that want a better way to purchase. So what happens then when you have a situation where people don't want to spend their Bitcoin because it is a true store of value, but they also want something that's solid and they can, you know, that's strong. And has secure properties that they can use a payment solution. I think we look at Litecoin, it clearly follows Bitcoin, at least has some of the strongest characteristics to Bitcoin. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was looking at Kyle and I locked out. So
no, we've seen that in history. Do you mind if I cut in? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I was cutting out. So, yes.
Yeah. So there's like Abra did it. The reason why they switched to Litecoin is because Bitcoin fees were too high, right? Businesses don't want to pay high fees, so they look for an alternative that's similar to Bitcoin. Well, the answer is Litecoin. Bitrefill also was another company that they added Litecoin support because Bitcoin fees were too high. If you have Bitcoin-based companies paying Bitcoin fees, it's going to be tough out there.
Yep.
And so I think that's why Litecoin, like if you're a business owner, you're going to cut costs. Like you're going to find any way to cut costs. And like maybe 3, 4, or 5 years down the line, when all of this is abstracted, where you don't really know if you're using Bitcoin or Litecoin underneath the background for settling payments, I think people are going to trend towards Litecoin for cheaper fees.
Yo, guys, I got to jump. Do you guys is there any more questions you needed me to answer specifically, or?
I think we're good, Kyle. I appreciate you coming on, man, and it was very
one last quick question. How does it feel to be so good looking?
And I'm out.
That's great. What an outro.
Way to scare him away, John.
Raise your hand if you guys own Bitcoin. Just at least one Bitcoin. Okay, let's be truly honest. Would you spend your Bitcoin?
No.
Just straight up. I mean,
no.
Don't say it because you love Litecoin. I know so many people who own Bitcoin. They don't even look or check. It's deeply in their cold storage, and they don't even want to mess with it, even put it risk of even losing it. So they just kind of put it in there, right? So, and my other point was that Roger Ver stumped Jimmy Song and Tone Vase with one question, and it was, what was the last thing you bought with Bitcoin? And they could not answer that question. So
yeah.
I don't care what people theorize about, BTC is divisible by so many. I don't care what you say. But if you truly understand what Bitcoin is and you truly hold at least one, I promise you, you will not spend that Bitcoin. You'd rather spend something else, and that's Litecoin. And you can come up with all kind of theories and economic papers and your whatever. I don't care. The proof is in the pudding. Every BTC holder that I know are not sitting here finding ways to spend that BTC, but Litecoin will be that coin. So it's just frustrating.
A good point. That's a good illustration. Like if I'm accumulating Bitcoin, I pretty much send it right to my cold storage. When I accumulate Litecoin, I take some of it and I send it to something like Abra, because I know I might use my Litecoin for something.
I always have like 50 Litecoins, 30 Litecoins in my Loaf wallet, just in case I want to spend it. But Bitcoin never sees sunlight, never sees heat or the internet. It just stays in that one place and it doesn't ever come out, So it's just incredible.
It is incredible, John.
I was in a while back. I was in a thread with Giacomo and Zuko and Tone and Jimmy. There was a time where I kind of went off on all three of them for the maximalism part of it. And then one of the arguments was if Bitcoin is not 100% what everybody is invested in, then it's failed. And I thought that was just from at least, I mean, from Giacomo, I mean, the guy is able to rationalize some things in a very clear, smart way, right? He's a smart dude.
Well, what was his point? Can you say that again?
His point was basically if Bitcoin does not own 100% of the market for cryptos, then it's failed, because their idea is there can be only one, right? It's like Highlander. You can only have Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is not the token used for all of these things that we're going to digitally tokenize, if it's not the currency, if it's not the end all be all of crypto, then the entire experiment has failed. And I think that is such a fatal way of looking at something as impactful as the crypto space, you can't say if it doesn't own 100% of the market share, it's failed.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes zero sense to me. Because you can never, unless you and the argument from my end was, unless you completely dictate it to everybody and there is absolutely no choice, and there's physical ramifications for a person who doesn't choose it, you're never going to get everybody in the world.
No way.
Never. So you cannot say that. How
Not
can
in
you
a
say an
free world.
experiment like that? I mean, if anything, if you have that many people who are trying to replicate it and do something similar, then it's obviously done something good, because otherwise you wouldn't be getting that. Yeah, it's a compliment.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't see how you can have less than probably 2 or 3 or maybe even a couple more that end up surviving all of this, and it's still a success in my eyes.
Of course, I mean, you're going to still have people using the dollar for many years to come. So I mean, that's
sure, and that's a failure in itself.
That argument, correct? But it still might be an option. So yes.
I mean, I used the dollar the other day to wipe my butt, so it's all good. There's always a use case.
Yo, send it my way if you're gonna wipe it with your.
You know
butt.
what?
After or before?
After or before? Yeah.
Just wash it after. I'll still take it.
Don't smell it directly. You whiff it. I'll send it to you.
No thanks. No thanks.
Hey, so this is a little bit off topic, but when I was talking to the car dealer yesterday, I said, have you ever taken a dollar bill and ripped off like little equal portions of it and then tried to pay somebody with it? And he was like, well, no, of course not. You can't do that. I'm like, well, just imagine a currency where you can take it to the millionth, right? And you can actually pay for something with it. That's the direction we're going with this. And it can never be duplicated. It can't be counterfeited. It can't, you know what I mean? If you would like to have that kind of a monetary system, then you need to look at cryptocurrencies, because you cannot take a dollar bill and rip it up into a million pieces and expect to pay somebody a sliver of a dollar and say, here, I'm going to pay you that for this. Oh, by the way, it's going to grow in value even though I've ripped it up. Right? How does that experiment fail?
Yeah, no, I know, like with this JP Morgan thing, I mean, a lot of people, it's getting a lot of heat and so forth, but I'm actually I think this is huge, and I'm actually incredibly encouraged, not specifically because they're creating a private stablecoin, but think about banks in general. They're very risk averse, especially JP Morgan. It was bashing crypto. And, when you have big players like this that were, not only are potentially threatened, have a lot to lose if they don't get involved, but are always, are generally very cautious when moving forward and things like this, take that next step, regardless of, what they're doing. This is going to be, I think, a big encouragement. It adds another layer of credibility to the Bitcoin and blockchain space in general, or crypto space in general. And I think we'll definitely start seeing sooner than later other big players, take a seat at the table. So I look at this as actually a big positive. Their coin is no threat to Bitcoin or Litecoin.
Right. I would agree. And the fact that they just did it validates it. It just validates the space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, my dad called me the other day. He knows I'm in cryptocurrency. I was talking to him yesterday. Every time we meet up, I tell him about my business, what we're doing. He knows about it, but it's never intrigued him. And it was funny. Yesterday, he's like, "Hey, did you see this JP Morgan coin?" He's like, because my dad's longtime big investment guy, and he's like, "Man," he's like, "this blockchain thing," and it got his eyes open. You know what I mean? And I think just for that very reason alone, I think it's really good. David, that was a really good analogy with the peeling the dollar bill and distributing it and paying for it with that. But what do you say to somebody you're giving that analogy to, and you're trying to talk to them about cryptocurrency, and then they're just like, well, nobody's using cryptocurrency?
And I tell them basically nobody's using it right now because it's still in its infancy. And if I had to talk to you about it while we're sitting here talking about cars, yeah, obviously it's not to the point where everybody's using it. But I said, tell me one person, and obviously there's a lot of people in the United States and other countries who probably fall into this category, but they have family who live in another country. And I said, who wouldn't want to know about the fact that they could send money home to their families or whoever they're trying to take care of, and instead of paying 10, 15, 20, $100 to transfer money over to another country, and it takes a few days, and they have to go through this arduous process to do that, who wouldn't want to know that all they have to do is push a button, send it over to another country halfway across the world, and they're paying pennies to do that? Who wouldn't want to know that? So it would be for me just like with my faith or anything else that I have knowledge of. If I don't share that with somebody, I feel like I'm cheating them out of something, right? So if I don't tell you about it, you might have a relative or somebody else who could be in that specific situation who could really use that type of information. So the more that we tell these people these things, the better it is.
Do you guys know what I realized when I see people pushing for adoption or explaining to people about crypto? You know what the one thing that they miss, which is probably the most important for the people who has no idea, is this. You guys ready? Because while you talk about the blockchain and the banks and the reason for blockchain, you forget to tell them the most important thing.
The money?
You could actually press one button and the money will go into your bank account as a USD. See, whenever you say that to them, they automatically think of Bitcoin and Litecoin as money now, because it's not just internet money that you're trying to convince them of, but it actually becomes something that you can press a button and it changes to US dollar and goes into your bank account to spend. So when I say keep it simple, I mean keep it simple. Tell them, I ask them, do you think Bitcoin is money? They say no. Well, let me prove to you that it's money, that all you need is go on Coinbase, click sell, and the money goes right into your bank account as USD. Once you get that in place, they will listen to everything you have to say because they want that free money. But before, without telling that, and I'm so like passionate about trying to explain to them what a blockchain is, you lose them after 2 minutes. As soon as you say decentralization, nobody in this world has ever felt or experienced what decentralization meant. From church to religion to it, nobody understands what decentralization means, you know? So whenever you go down that path, you lose them. But I'll always show them on my Coinbase. You see that button right there? I just press that button and the money goes right into my bank account. Is that money? Oh, yes, it's money. And then we start the conversation. So that's adoption 101 for you.
So when you have different things like, and Andrew, maybe this would be a good question for you. When you have things like JP Morgan coin, right, coming into existence, this new, you call it payment network, and it talks about replacing Swift, right, and solving that wire issue. Some would say, well, there's no need for Bitcoin and Litecoin now because of that very issue that people were saying is solved by Bitcoin or Litecoin is now solved by JP Morgan coin. So what do you say to that?
I'd say Ripple's screwed. I don't think Bitcoin or Litecoin is screwed. I mean, that's like a bank-to-bank business model. Like that's what JP Morgan Chase is, right? And so if you want to talk about payments, about like individual sovereignty, like owning your own assets, that's Bitcoin and Litecoin. That's not JP Morgan coin. That's still very, very, very centralized. It's not even really like, I wouldn't even consider it a cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Don't they even tell you that it's internal? It's internal. It's not something that you and I can even invest in, right?
I have no idea. I haven't read it. I haven't taken.
So this is the thing. All those bank coins and, you know, whether it's XRP or JP Morgan coin or any of those that are going to be involved in that type of capacity, that's going to be a cannibalistic environment for them. That's going to be infighting, something that we're not, like you just said, we're not even going to have to worry about that because it's not really pertaining to what, you know, what the Bitcoin and Litecoin drum that we're beating is all about.
Which wraps around to what John was talking about, which is that very key thing, decentralization.
So I think going forward, the biggest asset will be the history of that blockchain. And I think that's why Bitcoin and Litecoin flew under the radar. And therefore, at the end of the day, that so many people are coming out with new coins and new blockchains that people with actual history of security and reliability cannot be ignored, and that in itself is going to be an asset. Does that make sense?
Definitely. John, what's the most reliable cryptocurrency historically?
Litecoin.
You know what John and Litecoin have in common? They both have zero downtime.
Wow, that was good.
Hey, that's a sneak peek to your podcast, dude. That's freaking gold.
I'm gonna have some fun with this guy.
That's freaking gold right there. Beautiful.
I know we've been on here a while. I do want to ask a couple questions though.
You know, people are leaving though. Usually, when people leave, that's like a sign of, hey, shut it down. You know,
It's
let's
a long
go.
podcast.
But we're actually growing.
I'm loving it.
274 now.
Yeah, it went up
good.
a little bit.
Ask some questions, man.
I'm curious about a lot of things, guys. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but Litecoin price. And I said this, I met most of you guys pretty much a year ago. I mean, I have fun going back at the Twitter chat of like where we first started talking, and we haven't actually experienced like a bull market together, first off. But Litecoin price, do you think Litecoin price going up, do you think bull market is going to exponentially help in what we're all pushing for, which is adoption?
Yeah, absolutely.
In a negative way.
What?
Negative
Negative
way?
Well, I
way?
think
Really?
David, you negative downer,
What?
baby downer.
I'm just being
What you
honest,
talking
man.
about?
I'm
Why
gonna
would it
disagree
be negative?
slightly, but I hear what David's saying.
I think, and not in a. Okay, so it's a positive way in which people are going to make. If they've invested now, they're going to make some money. That's a positive, but it's going to be in a negative way because everybody's going to lose sight again as to why the hell we're even here, right? It's not about. It wasn't built for that. It was built to make the playing ground fair. I mean, why else would you have in the first block talking about how the banks are getting bailed out again in Bitcoin code?
Well, it was built to appreciate in value.
Sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, in the white paper, it talks about it's a peer-to-peer payment system, and that as much as people are going to profit from it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But once those bull runs start, and I mean, I got caught up in the whole September to December time frame where it went up exponentially. I mean, I'm taking a walk with my wife, and I'm literally watching price go up as we're walking, right? And it's just getting me so stoked. I wasn't watching it because I was excited about the fact that I could send money from me to E for almost nothing. You know what I mean? And if that's going to be everybody's focus during a bull run, then the application or the utility part of it takes a back seat again. And it's not going to get looked at until we go into another full bear market and then everybody's concentrating on trying to make the tech better again. So that's where I say that that's the negative part of it to me. And maybe it's because I'm doing these parts now where I'm going out and I'm talking to these organizations and other people because of the partnerships and the things that we're trying to do from a technical aspect. So I understand and appreciate that a lot more now. But just watching things like crypto Twitter and other places where, I mean, my God, that's all, during the bull run, that's all everybody talked about. And everything was great. And everybody's popping champagne bottles and it's just a great old time. But I mean, the tech kind of got just pushed to the side. And so to me, that's the negative part of it.
But do you think this time around, there are so many more things being built, so many more tools being built that are going to be put into the hands of new investors and users that aren't even here yet, where they're going to be just exposed to it automatically to be able to send cryptocurrency and just maybe even, just for an example, if Twitter, right, like implemented, you can like somebody's tweet, like if that happened, don't you think this last year of building is going to at least help with kind of forcing exposure of the technology onto new investors, even if they're only here for the money?
Sure, but I can tell you right now, if you have some person in like they always talk about, we're gonna bank the unbanked, and we're gonna have people in Africa who are now going to be able to be their own banks, and they can pay for things on their own. I mean, are they really going to give two shits about the fact that Alan just made 1,500 off of a trade from 2 days ago or whatever? They're going to be excited about the fact that now they can go pay for something.
But I think also, and I agree, but also it's going to attract the attention of a whole nother wave of people coming into space. And I think that could be good in general. Obviously, there's going to be people that are just trying to play the market. There always will be, but it also will be exposure in the broader picture. And the more it does this, the more bull runs, the longer it survives. I think slowly but surely people will say, this is here to stay. This is not just a short-term thing. This is real. And I think that part in itself will be helpful because we're still so young. And I think it's going to be impossible not to have volatility for many years because talking about billions of dollars coming in from one asset class and another. The only way that happens is with crazy volatility, but
sure, yeah.
But it will gain attention. And I totally agree that there's going to be.
I wouldn't argue that part. I think a bull run's going to be healthy for the awareness of it. I just think that there's going to be a negative side to it where unless you've been around for the part, and I can see where people who have been doing this for a while and they've been in the space for a while, they can appreciate the tech side of it more because they've gone through the times when the price it didn't matter as much, right? So, I don't know. It's fine when there's a bull market, and it'll be great, and it'll help with awareness, and it'll bring more people into the space. But I also think initially it's going to be more about greed again versus the technology, and that I just hope that doesn't get lost on people.
I have a feeling that most people in the space now, I mean, this last year has really shaken out most of the people that were there for greed. I mean, obviously there's still people, but so yeah, I agree that there'll be people coming in for that, but we'll also have those people that are already here for development and other things, and I have a feeling we'll also get another wave of people that are there to build and for the long term.
No, I agree with you.
I think it's fine for people to be interested in the price and because of the bull run. I mean, we just talked about like at the very beginning of the live stream how everyone's motivation was how much money you can make, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now look at us. So
it's a process.
Yeah. And then once you go down the rabbit hole, you learn about the tech, then yeah, it's just a whole transformative process.
And you're going to need, some people will need some, if it's okay if somebody wants to sell a little bit of their crypto, maybe they need that to survive and stay in the market. I mean, stay in the crypto field, because a lot of people are doing this, and not making much, if anything, in this field right now. So I think in that respect, if it helps people continue to, work towards things, I think that's positive. But yes, Twitter and everything else will be nuts.
It makes you wonder too, though, like does the tech need to matter to everybody? I mean, when people are investing in gold, right? Like, for how long have they been investing in gold? Do they have it with the intention of, I want to understand everything about this? Or are they doing it like, I need to buy this for a store of value and for my future?
There's no coding in gold. You know what I mean? It's just a block of metal that's precious, so there's not much to do. But when it comes to crypto, I mean, it's going over the internet. Now it's going over text messages. Now there's just so much technology behind it. It's just like, I don't think it's comparable to gold. Who you looking at, Dave?
Hold on.
Is that your probation officer? Your wife?
No, this is my daughter Catalina.
Hello. Welcome to
Hello.
the channel.
There's the other one. There's Victoria.
Wow.
Victoria.
Hi, you got two of them.
Yeah.
Look at
Guess
you,
what?
big
Hey,
dog.
guess what? They know me. They know me, Uncle Johnny, because
God, I look like crap.
You want to?
Oh my God, I look like crap.
There's my dog. Oh, there's the dog.
That is great.
That's fair.
The sports household.
Catalina is like she reminds me of like this German model. She's like, if you see her in real life, she's really pretty.
She can't hear you.
Oh. You hear it later and you're gonna smile, girl.
No, I'll tell you later.
What was he saying? What?
That is great.
Oh, yo,
The
can I
Schwartz
take-
But
household.
tell him I got my Kia now.
Oh yeah, so yeah, she got her Kia. So they both have their own cars now.
Hey, can you tell her Kia's from Korea?
And they paid with
Kia is
Litecoin?
from Korea.
Yeah,
She
that's what I
doesn't
was
care.
wondering.
I hope they paid with Litecoin for those
I thought
cars.
it was
I
true.
like that coin.
John.
Yo,
Okay, is it
I'm,
okay if
I'm, I'm gonna take this time out to acknowledge some people. Is that okay, Dan?
Of course.
I want to say what's up to the whole Litecoin fam, the most proactive fam, the most passionate fam, the most action speaks louder fam, the Litecoin East Coast team, Litecoin West Coast team, everyone who supports Dan on this channel, because I just believe that Dan, his followers are like real followers. And I remember saying this to many people. I don't care. Whenever I go to conferences and I'm stuck in an elevator somewhere, they always ask me, how many followers do you have? And then at that time, I had like maybe 8,000, right? I say 8,000, and they literally shift over to the next person who has 30,000. And then one time I got really upset. And I said, hey, guys, look at me real quick. How much you want to bet that my 8,000 followers will walk through the fire for me? How much you want to bet that I can call one of them and I can go and stay the night with them when I'm in need? How many followers do you have that can actually like you for who you are, you know, and engage with you in a way? And they, you know what they said to me? 3 seconds later, they said, can you tell me how to get those kind of followings? So what I'm saying is, I just want to tell everyone who has Litecoin, who actually, I don't care how many times, if you went out one time to ask a business, if you went out one time to tell a friend and send them Litecoin, I just want you guys to know one thing. You guys are the reason that Litecoin will succeed. You guys are the reason that Litecoin family is so strong. So I just want to encourage you, stay the path. It doesn't matter what people say. Whatever you do, I don't care how small it is very important to this whole ecosystem. So I want to applaud you for surviving the bear market, and I want to be there with you during the bull market. And until we bring sound money and freedom to money, let's put our head down and keep working and keep going forward. I love you, seriously, with all my heart.
Whew.
Now, carry on.
I know, man. Crying a little bit
I
here.
think that was a pretty great way to end the show. That was that's good, man.
I agree though. We are doing our own thing, that we were doing as much as we can. We're kind of, on the front lines a lot of times on video or something like that. But I always say to everybody out there, like, they're contributing so much just by, the support and just the energy that they're contributing, the conversation that they're contributing to. It means just as much as kind of what we're all doing. And it means a lot. Litecoin price? Can we talk about that before we head out?
You know what? Can we not put a filter on because we're from the Litecoin Foundation, because I'm e-currency and I'm brilliant and I'm the professor. I'm gonna give you the answer that is the most risk-free. Can we just be homeboys right now?
Talk about that.
And answer Dan's question with every ounce of our conviction. Without
I've actually got to head out.
No,
everybody. I think all of you guys are.
Oh, dude, look at the time. Oh man, dude. Oh,
he's gonna go first.
What's the question?
Yeah, what's the question?
Go ahead, Dan.
The question is Litecoin price 2019. Come on, baby.
2019.
Like the peak.
The peak.
The highest it will be.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good way to define it. The highest. Everybody's itching to know.
Because Dan knows this is what sells. Okay, he's a YouTube guy. He knows his people wants to hear this.
I want to hear it too.
All right. I mean, I'll say 150. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'll just say 150.
Okay, that's fair. Is David Schwartz going to answer our question?
Of course he is.
No, he's not.
He's the project.
By the way,
I gotta go. I'll see you guys.
All right. Thanks for coming by, Andrew.
Bye.
right,
Anybody
David.
else?
He said it. Higher
did
than
it.
it is today.
Higher. Okay, that's it. See, listen, there's no rules to this game. You don't even have to answer. I was just.
I mean, you
just
know what they say
proposing
about
the-
opinions. So
You know, Dan, every time I was on your show and we asked this question, I was so off. I just don't even want to answer, man. I have no clue.
We need a price, Dave. Stop being conservative.
So what are we talking? The highest or just where it's going to...
Highest it will be in 2019.
I don't know,
it's
200.
like-
We'll go 200.
why stop there? I mean, let me say this much. 2017, when the price went ballistic, it was clear that the price, went way beyond where the adoption was. It's been very clear, at least to me, that over the last year, adoption is gone ahead of where price is, with all of the things we've seen happen. So
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think, to what extent, hard to know, but there's been so much. We're talking about the market and the bear market, but despite the bear market, it's been so encouraging on how many people have been getting involved in the space despite the price. And I don't think that's really, I don't think the price is really reflecting that yet.
So, Alan, we need a price.
Well, higher than it is today.
Wow, I followed in the footsteps.
Dude, I put myself out there. You can't
Okay.
even
Okay.
It's,
You know what, man? This sucks because that price, I can't give it.
it's a little harder when you're getting held on camera to a number, huh?
I got in early. I wrote it all the way up. I'm here for the long. I'm here for the long game. So I'm confident it'll be hundreds of dollars, if not more, at some point. But to put a time on that, I mean, that's. I didn't think we'd be in this bear market quite this long. So you guys are just waiting for an answer, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Maybe 100. Yeah, 150. Here's the crazy thing. It could be $60. It could be $300, $400. I mean, we've seen some crazy when the bull runs happen. Look out.
Well, I have a confession to make. I know some people know this. Last year, I said that if Litecoin doesn't hit 11,000, that I will quit Twitter.
11,700, brother.
Yeah. So
is there a time on that?
But who's counting?
No, but listen. But I just want to be open and transparent because it's been eating at me because I'm sure some people are deep in the back of their head. Like John said he was going to quit Twitter, but I've been seeing him more active on Twitter in 2019. So if you guys, I'm gonna do a poll like Dan does. If you want me to quit Twitter and keep my word, press 1. If you have mercy on this soul and you want to forgive me and allow me to stay on Twitter, press number 2.
So what's your price, though?
I'll say that as soon as I see some voting. Press 1.
And you'll throw in another Litecoin stuff.
Hey, I didn't get to have any distractions before I gave a price. Why do you get to do that?
All right, so my price this year, I believe that Charlie Lee hit flattening. He hit the bottom. He hit, everything that he literally said, literally hit. And he really believes that Litecoin will go back to all-time highs again. So he didn't say when, but I just believe that the price will go over last year's all-time high this year.
This year.
Yeah, but I'm not going to bet my Twitter on it because it's worth more now. My Twitter's worth so much to me now. I can't bet on it.
Your Twitter's like a Bitcoin. You're just gonna hold on to that sucker, and yeah. Hey,
Wow.
So kind of from I don't know if you want to call it an insider perspective or anything else, but just seeing some of the developments, whether it's technological or adoption wise or whatever else, I'm cautiously bullish. Let's just put it that way. So when I'm trying to refrain from telling you what I think it might be, it's because of I believe for my own protection. I have the ability to see some things that some other. John does too, and Alan, of course. So all I can say is Litecoin is on the right path, right? And it's because of everybody that's out there. It's not just because of a handful of people. It's because of everybody that's out there trying to do something. And not all of them even tell us what they're doing, but I'm just telling you, Litecoin is on the right path.
I agree. And I think if we learned anything in 2018, it is with all the tech, with all the building, that doesn't necessarily move the price. That's why I say on my channel all the time, I'm long-term bullish. I never say I'm bullish because like in the moment, you know, I'm kind of following the market, right? And you know, even for 2019, I'm not that bullish on 2019, right? So I think my price, if I had to do a prediction, probably would surprise a lot of people. But I'm long-term bullish. Will we break all-time highs? I very much think so. Will it be in 2019? I very much don't think so. But those are my thoughts.
John Moore says 850. Poseidon Lou says 800. I think.
Okay, let's go with that.
No, because I love John Moore and Poseidon Lou because we're on the same frequency. We're just crazy people, so I have to agree with them. 800, 850. John Moore, Poseidon Lou. I got you, baby. I'm with you.
All I can tell you is this is going to be a fun year.
Yes, I agree.
Just look in my eyes. This is going to be a fun year.
I know something you don't know. David knows something you don't know.
Everybody, you heard it here. It's going to be a fun year. And I mean, it kind of intermingles in that is Vegas in October, right? That's one thing.
Ooh, Litecoin Summit. We didn't even talk about that. Can we end with that? Can we end with
let's end with that.
Some juicy stuff that's at the Litecoin Summit this year?
Let me throw, before we go there real quick, let me throw out too that for anyone in the LA area or anybody who wants to come by, we're going to also be involved. Litecoin will be at the foundation, will be at the Crypto Invest Summit, which is at the LA Convention Center on April 9th and 10th. Charlie Lee will be speaking, and we'll also have 3 different panels. We'll be talking about payments, Lightning Network, designing in decentralized environment, and we'll also have a booth. So it'll be an awesome opportunity for people to come by and learn more.
What was the date again?
April 9th and 10th in LA at the Crypto Invest Summit.
Okay, cool.
Last year's they had a great impressive turnout, so hopefully that'll be the same. And it'll be, and several speakers from the foundation will be speaking on the panels in addition to Charlie. And
you'll be tweeting that information as well as it gets closer, correct?
Yeah, we've been tweeting it, but we'll definitely tweet it more.
So just so everybody knows in live chat, I put everybody's Twitter handle below. So, you know, go follow them, go follow Alan, and you'll be able to get updates on things like this happening. So, okay. John wanted to talk about Litecoin Summit, and then I think he disappeared.
I think he just put himself on, I don't know, there he is. Yeah.
Leaving us since it's like
David, tell us what can we expect at the Litecoin Summit? What is David Schwartz cooking? Can you smell
Jesus.
Oh my God. Let me see. So there's different speakers from last year, so that's good. Not in a bad way or anything, because I think the speakers last year were great. But this is more of a, we're trying to push mainstream adoption and awareness. So you're going to see a different type of a summit this year in respect to like day 2. Day 1 will be more technical in nature again, but day 2 will be more entertaining. And I think the kinds of speakers and the types of things that we have coming in are going to be really exciting. Let me see if I can give one away without getting. So there will be a panel. There will be a panel of athletes that will be talking about how they've gotten into crypto.
Amateur athletes?
No, professional athletes.
High school athletes? Professional athletes, like famous athletes? Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure because Bob at the YMCA gym is not going to be the speaker at the Litecoin Summit.
No, we're talking very noticeable professional athletes who are invested in crypto and specifically Litecoin.
In many different sports or all in one sport?
All different sports.
Okay. Just wanted to ask some questions.
Yeah. So that'll be kind of Yeah, no, that'll be kind of the focus for day 2. Day 1, we'll have some good people in there. I don't want to steal their thunder too much. Let me think of one that. All right, so God, I want to get too into this. All right, so I'll say their last name is Hoffman.
Everybody's on Google right now. It's okay. You don't. I mean, you don't have to feel obligated to spill the beans.
Well, I
here.
do a little bit now because of John. Thanks a lot.
That was actually John's fault. Remember that. That
Yeah.
wasn't my fault, David.
Yeah, it'll be. We basically already almost have the entire speaker panel or the speaker slots for day 1 and 2 filled. We're leaving a few open for things that develop over the course of time through October, right? But for the most part, everything's set. All I can tell you is it's going to be. If you enjoyed yourself last year, you are really going to enjoy yourself this year. So, and it's definitely going to be affordable for people, and but it will be a tiered approach. So, I mean, once we reach certain amounts of people who have purchased tickets, it'll go up a little bit in price as we get closer. So, the earlier you buy your tickets, the better off you'll be.
So let's take a vote real quick. How many people press 1 if you're definitely coming? Come hell or high water. I mean, I don't care if your girlfriend leaves you, your wife is pregnant. I mean, you're coming no matter what. Press 1 if you're definitely coming. Please.
I can't see what's going on, so you're going to have to tell me.
Yeah, I can't either.
Wow.
Got some ones flying in.
Wow.
Dom.
I'm telling you.
Hey,
It's going to be worth it, man.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave,
Yeah.
I need you to raise the price because I see a lot of one. I'm sorry, I'm a businessman, okay? So we're gonna have to raise it up 20% because due to the supply and demand, the demand is higher right now. So, David, let's have a call tomorrow to make sure that we raise the price.
John's gonna scalp
Hey,
tickets.
would this help? Would this help too? Let me tell you on the types of people that would be there will make this event magical.
There you go. I think that's enough. That's enough. I think it's going to have a different type of energy than last year too.
Yes.
Magical?
Yeah.
Are we having like Frozen concert there, or what's magical?
No, but you could consider them, like your friends, maybe.
Perhaps.
And we will also be releasing sponsorship packages shortly.
Yes.
So there will be a great opportunity to be a sponsor and have a booth and have presence. And we won't be having hundreds of sponsors. It'll probably be in the neighborhood of like maybe 25, 30. So it's a great opportunity for exposure.
I wonder if anybody just
Alan, the
picked up on
sponsor lead, throwing the pitch in there.
And I just want people to know I will be Charlie Lee's bodyguard. I will be next to him. So don't expect me to be friendly. You're gonna see my fight face on, my bodyguard face on. So don't be like, "Hey John, what's up, dude?" And I'm gonna be like,
It's not a very scary face.
That's his constipated face. That's what that is.
David, I think I feel like you just threw like a little hint out, and I don't think anybody really picked up on it, even in the chats. So that's
okay. That's good.
There you go. See?
I fulfilled my obligation without ruining it.
Exactly. That's awesome. All right, fellas. That was I think a record live stream tonight. I think we almost went 2 hours. So that was
wow.
Well, Dave was late, so he only went like
I went an hour and 54 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
So guys, be there. Be at the Litecoin Summit. I mean, last thing I'll say, be at the Litecoin Summit. It's going to be 1 week of a blockchain week. We're going to start with Litecoin Summit. We're going to end with World CryptoCon. Guys, if you can get 1 week off from work, come to Vegas and spend the week with me. And I promise you, we're going to party like it's 2019. I don't even know if that makes sense.
Well, that was profound.
but Litecoin Foundation, I mean, Litecoin Summit is one thing, but World CryptoCon last year, I mean, there were so much crazy parties at like the biggest name clubs. It's incredible. So guys, be there.
Yeah, Halloween week is amazing. It's fun. It's crazy.
Hey, so I got a promise from my wife. She's going to come this year with me too. So
Awesome.
yeah,
That would be great to meet her.
that should sell 5 tickets right there. No.
Well, her and Sarah can hang out.
Yeah, and Kyle's wife I think is coming too, Nicole. So.
Sweet. That'll be awesome.
My wife isn't, because I'm Asian, and I told her, stay home, woman.
Terrible.
John.
Sorry.
You're terrible.
Hey, my initials are JK. Everybody knows I'm joking. All right,
That's
calm down.
perfect. It's just cooked into your name.
But she was there last year, right?
No, she was there.
She showed up.
No, but she was at World Crypto.
World CryptoCon, and the only reason she came was to eat dinner with Charlie, and then she left.
She has her priorities right.
You told me John's got it pretty good.
She goes, I gotta see for myself if you really say that you're with Charlie or not. And I was like, all right. And then she ordered like this $400 Kobe steak, and I literally pooped my pants because I don't even have the balls to order like a really expensive steak. And my wife ordered this like $300-400 Kobe steak, and the bill came out to like $2,000.
Your
and
wife's a boss.
I looked at my wife and I was like, she goes,
That's awesome.
so thank you, Charlie, for that dinner. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's the steak. That's the steak where like they play music. They play Beethoven music to the cows and they massage them and stuff.
You would think, but
No, really. And
I didn't see any cows.
And they feed them sake and massage them. They never like walk. And so literally you eat Kobe steak, the real one, right? Like the Wagyu real one. You don't need a knife. You just get a fork and you just cut it and you eat it.
Wow.
Yep.
I think the steak that I normally eat, they play Twisted Sister to it, and they have them all crammed up into a barn together or something because it's a little tougher.
That's the $7.99 version right there.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, what a good stream. Thank you, Dan, for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
it.
I appreciate you
It's
taking
been
the
too
time.
long.
Really, it has been. We got to.
No, I mean it's been too long in between them, man. It's
Yeah, we got to make it a thing because I think they're productive as well as entertaining. So, I thank you guys for taking a couple hours and coming on here, and I know everybody out there is appreciative as well. So, thank you.
Thank you to everybody who actually held on through this whole thing.
Right, we had a good time. So we'll end it there. We'll obviously be catching up with you guys on Twitter. Make sure you follow everybody in this live stream that was here tonight on Twitter. Their links are below. In the pinned comments. And yeah, exciting things to come, everybody. Thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. Make sure you keep the Litecoin Summit in the back of your mind because it's going to come quick and we're going to have some fun. I hope everybody has an awesome night, awesome rest of the week. We will see you all in the next video. God bless.